me. They all try to convince me, but I still wear a smile on my face. The smile is just a start from a good happy place. Hold on to possibilities of who you wanna be. What you see, what you believe will be your destiny. Like they say, everybody can take this ride. Sometime you must encourage yourself to live the good life. Everybody wants a good life, yeah, a piece of pie. Good life, see, everybody wants the good life, the good
life. Hey everybody, how are you? I'm Musa Jackson, and this is Ambassador Digital Magazine Live. So, wow, another week. Here we are. Hope it was a good one for you. And always welcome to our program. We have a great guest coming in live from Los Angeles. So I can't wait to introduce you to him a little bit later. But first, normally this is the time that we talk about what's happening in the world. We talk about like the politics and just all the, sometimes since we started, a whole lot of craziness that seems to have always happened week after week. Things have changed somewhat since Biden and Kamala got into office, which we're grateful for. Faith in this administration. So I just want to say, so with that said, let's skip politics a little bit for today, right? Let's move and let's talk about other things, because it's been a really interesting week, or interesting day actually for me. I started out my day, I did which I was really happy to do, a digital series on starting a business during COVID. A good friend of mine, Diedrich Tate, asked me to be a part of that. And it was really, just really talking about how businesses like Ambassador Digital Magazine and others got started and happened during COVID. So that was a pretty cool thing. And I, should check out that series. It's actually the Digital Dialogue series. And then actually today starts a really great organization. It's their 5th anniversary for Blue Jacket Fashion Show. And Blue Jacket Fashion Show, which is started by the great designer Frederick Anderson, is really, it's a fashion show where, they ask guys, a lot of celebrities, influencers, to don a blue jacket of their choice. And here it is. And the proceeds go towards Prostate Cancer Foundation. And this is their 5th anniversary. So yours truly donned the blue jacket and strutted 125th Street. I don't know if we have it, but it was a Christian Dior, if I might add. But so happy to be a part of that. So go get tested, men. Please get tested. I've lost close people friends to prostate cancer. So it's really important to get checked and and get that exam, get checked. Okay, get tested. So that's happened today. But wow, it's Sundance Film Festival is also happening right now. And it's the day is the very first day, and the debut film for Sundance is Summer of Love, which was it's the directorial debut of Questlove, and it's really, really special to me. And part of the reason why it's special to me is because I'm in it. Summer of Love takes place. It's a documentary that basically chronicles people that were at this particular event in Harlem. And it happened in the summer of 1969. I was a little boy, and I got to go to this amazing, amazing event in Marcus Garvey Park. And at the event was Nina Simone, Sly and the Family Stone, The Fifth Dimension, Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight and the Pips. And it was called the Harlem Cultural Festival, AKA the Black Woodstock. It actually preceded Woodstock. So this came first. And it was the most attended event, outdoor concert at that time in Harlem's history. Up to 300,000 people, I believe, you have to watch a film, attended over a few different weekends. And like I said, I got to see it. And interestingly enough, when Quest was looking for people to to do the film, he needed people who were actually there. So there's Sly Stone, and it's my first memory that I ever have. So when people ask me, what do you remember? How far do you go back? It's the first thing that I remember is actually Nina Simone and Sly Stone and being at this event. So I remembered it in great detail, and I was asked to be on camera. There's only 12 people, and I'm one of the 5 that they say anchor the film. So I'm really excited. That happens tonight. I'll be watching it this evening, and I will let you guys know about it. It has not been picked up yet, but it will be. And it's a very important moment in history that, like I said, has not been seen. This footage has not been seen in 51 years. So it's historic footage of a time in Harlem. And the whole point of the concert was for Black unity and the Black family. And that's exactly what it was. And so I'm excited about that happening today. So I'll tell you all about that next week. We'll talk about that. So that's happening. There's birthdays that are happening. Nifa Carter, an R&B legend who's an East Harlemite. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Monifa. You might know her. We know Monifa. I Miss You with Heavy D. Come on. Everybody knows that. And so I wish you much love. Also, it's Yvonne McNair. She is an award-winning event producer. It's her birthday as well. And my little sister, Doreen Coxum. It's her birthday as well. So I just want to say, have a beautiful day, ladies. I love you. And a shout out to you. So I want to just go ahead and bring on our first guest. Let me tell you, when I heard about him, I was instantly inspired because, when I think about, honestly, when I think about real estate development, those kind of things, I don't really always see people that look like me. And so I was really kind of like, wow, this person is not only making a difference, but I'm doing the damn thing, but he's also making a difference. And he is the CEO of Cain Modern, as well as the CEO of Cain Interiors and Construction. And he is, one of the most amazing developers and entrepreneurs in Los Angeles, California. And we're going to talk to him about other things, but let's bring him out right now so we can get to it. Please welcome to our show, Cain Caldero Leon. I hope I said that right.
That was perfect, Musa. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for doing that.
How's it going?
It's going well. It's going very well, actually. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. It was a really busy day. So, like yeah.
Conquering the world.
Hey, we got to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And I know the weather. How's the weather? It's amazing.
The weather here is even when it rains, it's wonderful. It's just slightly cloudy, so people are putting in their parkas and their fur coats because it dipped below 50 degrees. So that's how it is.
Of course. just a little chill, and that's when you bring out the chinchilla, right?
Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about them later. But you also are dad.
Yes. Two
Yeah. So,
amazing twins. Yeah. Very, very
yeah,
fortunate.
of course, and a husband.
Yes.
So why don't we start? We love to sort of start from the beginning.
Mhm.
So take us back to where you're from. We know California, but what part? And what was that like growing up?
Okay, so I grew up. Well, I was born in Torrance, Palo Verde's area, and we kind of moved in different areas depending on where my mother could find employment. We didn't grow up wealthy, to say the least. My mother always, she tells me the story time and time again that when I was born, she prayed that we would never go without a meal. And I can say definitively that we have never gone without a meal. We've gone without some other things, maybe light, maybe water, but we've never gone without a meal. And that, to her credit, I'm making sure that we always had at least a meal and a place we could call home. How she did it, I don't know, but for some reason, somehow, with the grace of God and her ingenuity and her fortitude, she was able to take care of two children all by herself. It was amazing. This is amazing.
Wow. And so
we moved all over the place, and we found that she always made home. No matter where we lived, it was always home. So one of the interesting stories is that we would move into a small apartment somewhere, and she would go to the thrift store and she would find like whatever they happened to have, and she would transform it into something beautiful. And so we always lived in an environment that was aesthetically beautiful. It may not have been expensive, but it was always aesthetically beautiful. And so that kind of informed my idea of what the world should be aesthetically.
Right. I love that because it doesn't always have to be, you don't always have to have a lot of money,
No.
right, to make something beautiful. And your grandmother, you learned a lot from her as well, her mom, right?
Yeah. Well, back up once more.
Okay.
My grandma was a auction goer and a thrift store buyer. She, of course, she grew up in the Depression, so she knew how to make things stretch. She actually had 16 children, so it was imperative upon her to make sure that they were always fed and clothed and so forth and so on. So that amazing ability of Black women was passed down from my grandmother to my mother. But another interesting anecdote is that she would take us to the thrift store because growing up, again, we were wont of maybe the fineries, but we've always had clean clothes and food in our mouth. But when I started going to school and seeing other people, how they would dress and so forth and so on, I would of course get envious, and then she would say, "Oh, you can have that." And I'm like, "Well, how?" She said, "Well, come with me." So she took me to the thrift store, and there was this particular brand that I wanted. It was just way expensive, more expensive than I could ever afford. But we found that item at the thrift store. We washed it, we cleaned it up, took it to school. No one knew the wiser. And from that point on, it was about how do we make something from nothing? How do we repurpose things? How do we find the beauty in things that another person may not find, and bring it out, and then present it to the world again.
Right.
She was excellent at repurposing things. So that was my history.
Wow. And also great at finding quality items. Right?
It's all she's one of the sayings that my grandma always gave me was always buy quality and buy timeless things that are timeless. If you buy things that are timeless and that are quality, they'll always be with you. You can always refinish a piece of furniture. You can always change a button, but if it's a timely, well-made, classic piece of either furniture or clothing, then you'll always have it. and so that informed my whole thinking about how I design, how I approach interior design, how I approach architecture, how I approach just everything, even fashion. All my approaches, that informs all of my approaches.
Right. Okay. But you know, with that said, it would seem like that would be just the sort of path that you would take, whether it be fashion or interior design. But it wasn't.
No,
You
it
right? Did you start?
Yeah, it was.
Didn't you go to school? Weren't you pre-med?
Yes, I went to school to actually be a doctor. It was, and when I was in middle school, a friend of mine, one of my closest friends in middle school, she died of an aneurysm, and at the time, no one could tell us exactly what an aneurysm was. So I did a little research. I found out what the causes were, or at that time that was known. And so I thought, okay, this is what I want to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was on that track. And through high school, through college, it was kind of a foregone conclusion that that's what I was going to do. I was going to be a physician, research, and find out a possible cure for aneurysms, or at least a way of detecting them at an earlier stage so that people don't suddenly die. Along the way, my focus was waning. The idea of being in a sterile environment for a very considerable amount of time just didn't appeal to me. It didn't appeal to my creativity, and
Right.
so it was a very difficult decision to make. But I decided to get off that track and find that which was more fulfilling to me,
Mm-hmm.
and that happened to be design.
Okay. I mean, was it something you always had, like, in your soul was design, would you say? Because that's
Right.
sort of like, was design something you always wanted to do?
So, no, it was in my background, of course, with my grandmother and my mother, but it wasn't in the forefront of my mind. Once I was on the medical track, my whole focus was medicine, and the pursuit of medicine. The moment that I knew that medicine wasn't for me is that I was actually working on a stroke model in a very sterile laboratory. And I
Mm-hmm.
looked around and I kind of saw my future. And a lot of the instructors that I spoke with and a lot of the people that I knew that were physicians were lamenting how they wish they would have, instead of living someone else's truth, like their parents, or living or being a role, or playing a role in someone else's play, I should say. They wish they would have listened to themselves and did what they really wanted to do. And so that was in the back of my mind. And I thought, okay, you know what? This is not what I wish to do. I'm good at it. I have a proficiency at it, but this is not what I wish to do. And so that took me on a very long track of figuring out what exactly it was that I wanted to do, what kind of contributions I could give to the world, and how I could effectuate change on my level, whatever my level happened to be.
Mm-hmm. How did that lead you, right, into, how did that lead you into where you are now? What was the beginning road?
Okay, so um, interestingly enough, I I worked through college. So I put myself through college. I didn't get any loans or grants or anything of that nature. And when I decided that medicine wasn't what I wanted to pursue, I realized that, you know, I have access to funds, to loans and grants to further my education that I haven't accessed. So I accessed those funds, and I purchased a home. And with that, I remodeled that home. And my next door neighbor decided, or came over and said, "Hey, can you do the same thing to my house?" And I said, "I can try," with no formal training. I said, "You know, I'm not a contractor. I'm not a designer, but I can try." I did. I remodeled her kitchen. She loved it. She sold her house based on the kitchen design. The owners, or the new owners, said that they loved the kitchen, and that's why they bought the house. And that led to one referral after another referral after another referral. And before you know it, I had a business. But of course, there was a lot of things I didn't know. So I had to go back to school in order to learn architecture, contracting, design, spatial design, things of that nature. That's what brought me to where I am now.
Amazing, amazing. And so, what you didn't know, like, okay, so I'm understanding that now you have this business, right? Did we start hiring employees? I mean, give us sort of like an idea, because I know people are probably watching and wondering, okay, so guess what? I can just remodel a couple of kitchens, you know what I mean? And maybe get a contract license, and I'm gonna put a shingle up. And I'm gonna be in a year, I'll be doing what, Cain is doing. Maybe, so
Well,
was it like that, or was there, I mean, no, it wasn't. But how did it happen from there?
With everything, it's a process. Once you set your mind to something, you can achieve almost anything that you just set your mind to. It's just once you figure out what it is your purpose. Once you find your purpose, everything else kind of falls into place.
Right.
You don't worry about the money, because money will come, but you do concern yourself with being the best that you can be and doing everything you can to be the best that you can be. And that was my process, trying to be the best that I could be, making mistakes along the way, of course, but being the best I could be, and to get to the point where I wanted to be.
Right.
And so I had to go back to school to learn again architecture, how to design a house, and then I was doing these projects and giving it off to contractors, and I realized that at that point I was working as a consultant because I didn't have a contractor's license. So I went back to school to learn contracting, I received my contractor's license, and then I was able to contract. So the first few jobs after I received my contractor's license was interior design. And I've always had an ability to see what's not right in a room, and then correct it.
Right.
So that helped me a great deal. And my medical background also, I've always had an ability to see in 3D, how assays work and how molecules fit together. I've always had that ability, and that served me well in the medical field, medical profession, excuse me. And so it also served me really well in a spatial arena, in that I can go into a room and say, oh, this is what is needed. That's what's needed. We take this out and make this work. And so and then that's from one job to one job to one job. And before you know it, again, I never had to advertise. It was just word of mouth, from one client to the next client.
I mean, I think what's so amazing about that is that, I think you probably realized early on from the feedback that it was something that you should be doing.
Right. Absolutely.
And so let's talk about Cain Modern.
Cain Modern is, we have a construction business, we have a development business, we have a interior design wing of Cain Interiors Construction, and then Cain Modern is our store where we sell mid-century furniture and bespoke furnishings as well. We make furniture. If I'm working on a project and there's not a product out there that I think is perfect for the location, then I'll design it and make it, and then we'll place it in its place. So that's Cain Modern, and then we have we've made furniture for countless individuals, and you'll see our work all over the place, actually. Then we also have a auction house where we auction pieces that maybe not work for a particular project, but the other designers will find it appealing for their work.
Question. So now you have That's one side of it. You also have obviously interior and construction,
Right. So,
right?
yes, Cain Interiors Construction is more of a development company. We do spec houses for sale, luxury spec houses. That's what Cain Interiors and Construction does.
Right. And was it always your idea to have your own company in terms of, because you're the CEO, right? Were you
Yes.
working with some? Were you working as a thing, and then it sort of, or did you just decide to do this on your own?
No. Since I can remember, it was drummed in my head that Black ownership is what you have to have. You don't become wealthy working for someone else. You become wealthy working for yourself, and you get to pay yourself what you think you're worth. You don't have to rely on someone else to determine what you're worth. The amount of work that you put in is usually what you get out of it, and you don't have to rely upon others to value you. You value you, and so it's all about ownership and Black ownership, because then again, we don't have to answer to other individuals. We're answering to ourselves, and we're a very industrious community, and we work very, very hard. And if we do that, we can be compensated for it, or we should be compensated for our labor. So it's all about entrepreneurship, ownership, and legacy, if you will.
And with that said, what is the percentage of Black out there, or at least in the Los Angeles area?
In Los Angeles area, Black developers, less than a handful. As a matter of fact, I only know of one or two other ones that actually, I don't know of any other ones in the high-end luxury market. I'm sure there's other developers, but in the high-end luxury market, I'm speaking of the $20+ million range for homes, $30 million homes. I don't know of any others, and that's a tragedy, because we have a voice, and we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to say, and our experiences can bring a lot of value to these properties, and we're just not there. And it's unfortunate, but we're not.
I think that's tragic to me. That there's only one or two. You know what I mean? It might feel like we've made it. You know what I mean? They sort of get the limelight. But like you said, we really have to have more voices. I'm glad your help bring voice.
Yes, very much so.
So you also have, and then let's continue this line. $25 million home. Let's talk about that. Some of your designs. Let's show some people what Paul. Paul, can we show them some of the things that Cain has built? Look at that, guys. Well, I just saw my dream house. It's that. Okay.
So that's my design. I designed a house. My company also built a house, and we did the interior design as well. That's in Bel Air. It was purchased by a billionaire, a foreign billionaire, and it's like about 15,000 square feet, 12 to 15,000 square feet. It has a guest house. It has a spa, a day spa, and a theater, of course, a wine room, a wine cellar. It also has there's this bathtub that I've loved for a very long time. I was looking for a place to use it. It happens to be a $60,000 bathtub, but this was the project for that bathtub. And we got a lot of press because it was a $60,000 bathtub, but when you look at the entire house, there would be no other bathtub for that particular house.
Right.
It worked out very, very nicely. The owners are very happy with their purchase, and they couldn't be more happy.
Let me tell you, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm looking magnificent, stunning. Only way to describe it.
Thank you.
Actually,
what you can see there is just off the grand suite. We don't call the largest room in the house a master. I wish to abolish the use of the word masters for the largest room. So I call it the grand suite. Master has a connotation that we're trying to get rid of and trying to get out of. So if it's I only wish to call it the grand suite. And just off the grand suite on the second floor, there's a pool that is just for the grand suite, but it also looks into the living room. So as you enter the front door, that's the very first thing you see. I understand the owner has had quite a few parties where there's individuals swimming in that pool.
Well, he's not, I think we all can agree. We like to all swim in that pool. I'd love to see some more, Paul, if possible. Let's see. Take some guys, a little tech. If we could, okay. Wow. Stunning interiors.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
For some, like I said, some of the pieces we made for that particular house, I don't see any of them.
Okay. Minnie comes back. We'll probably put up some more. You got it? You good?
I'm good. Little thing is going out.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
When they were all master technology. Okay, one.
Is that better? Okay.
I love it. I love it.
That's a Beverly Hills place. One of the more recent ones we've done. That has a let me see. It's about 5,000 square feet. It has a balcony on the top there with the gym. It has about 4 bedrooms. The pool, the idea was that I want the pool to be the part of the interior. So when you look from the interior to the exterior, there's this really cool sculpture, and it draws you to the outside. And then there's this really beautiful fountain there that fills into the pool.
I'm a little lost for words. Yeah. So it's what I love about, and we're going to talk about this too. Can you explain to us modernism?
Well, modernism, actually, that's a little difficult to explain modernism because it's a loaded word. Everyone has a different idea of what modernism was. This is really cool. I
love this.
So this bathroom, I designed this whole bathroom around the tree behind the tub. It's a beautiful magnolia tree. And when it blooms, all you see are huge magnolias in that window. It's just amazing. And then the glass, glass on the left, it's glass tile from I believe it's Ansak's glass tile on the left there. And the idea here was to bring the nature in. It's a rural part of Beverly Hills. It's up in the hills. Lots of trees, lots of beautiful magnolia trees, as well as sycamore trees. So the idea was just to bring the inside out.
I love how you play with nature and just the elements. I love that. You get a feeling like you're really respectful of nature.
Absolutely.
And I love, and Marcia, I'm looking. She's absolutely right. It's the clean lines for me.
Yeah, clean. So modernism. There's modern homes. They tend to be very angular.
Mhm.
rather sterile. My idea of modernism, actually, I want it to be clean lines, of course, but I don't want it. I don't want it to be sterile. I
Mhm.
want you to feel warm. So I consider it more of a warm modern, something that you can feel home in. That it's not just a museum. I've done homes where the client just wanted a museum. They wanted shiny surfaces, all white, and that's fine. But for me, I couldn't live there. And every place that I designed,
Mhm.
I would like to live there.
Mm.
That,
Understood.
I
I,
try.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. You go.
No, no. I try to design how I wish to live. And I traveled the world. I traveled all over the world, and all those influences uh, kind of influence. All those influences, rather. I'm sorry. Um, Dictate to me what is current, how to mesh modern and different styles to make it a little bit more warm than the traditional modern house.
Mhm. And do you, what you, like you said, you traveled the world, you've learned so much over these years. Does it impact, do you make the final decision for the most part of every project, or is it
Yeah,
like a
I'm
collaboration or something?
no, I'm a bit of a control freak because I have a vision, and when I first started, I would have these visions. I would give it to the contractor, and they would never come to fruition. So that's why I actually went back to learn contracting. And so now I decide everything from the hardware to the where the windows are placed to the mirrors to the hardware in the bathroom, the tubs, everything in this house I designed. Everything in this house I thought about. And that's the way I like it. It's not always the case, particularly if I'm working for a client, which I don't do very often. But if I am working for a client, I don't usually have carte blanche. Here, when I'm doing spec homes, I get the choice.
Right.
I get to decide.
Got it. Got it. Right. Obviously, Beck Holmes, that's your baby from, the whole kit and caboodle
Right.
is
That's right.
right. Okay. Got it.
That's right.
And, listen, I can speak for everybody pretty much. If I had like that, I'd be like, look, you want to bags? I'll put it in.
Well,
I trust you. I trust you.
that's the dream client. That is definitely the dream client. They don't happen often. They do happen sometimes, particularly when I was contracting for private clients. But it's rare. It's very rare.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. And so you've done, and I love everything that you've done. I mean, oh, here's a question. So I mean, listen, some of you don't have that kind of money to spend. What might be something that people that do own homes? What might be one thing that you would say the first thing that you should sort of invest money in? If you wanted to start, if you have a home and you want to sort of do some minor changes, right? What
Uh-huh.
might be one thing that you might add, you might change in someone's home?
Well, your home is an investment, and this is the way I approach home building as well. Your home is your investment, and if you want a decent return on your investment, spend it wisely. None of us has an endless amount of resources, so take what you have, make your
Mm-hmm.
kitchen as wonderful as can be, make your bathrooms as wonderful as it can be, and then buy the most comfortable sofa that you can ever buy. Spend your money on your sofa because we use our sofas a lot, particularly in this COVID pandemic time. And you'll find that that investment will serve you well just for you. But if you're looking to invest in your property, always
Mm-hmm.
kitchens, always bathrooms.
Okay. And so kitchen's bathroom. And oh gosh, I have, when you have someone like you, right? And I know, and I'm like, guys, ask me a question. You got this expert here. I'm looking over my friend Angelique. You got a question for him? But okay. So would you also, if you bought a home, right?
Right.
Would you then think about expanding on the home if you had the property? Would that be something that would be a good thing to do? Or would you say keep it the way it is and just work in within? But I have a friend that has a beautiful, I'll speak for her, she's a beautiful home, which she could probably, she's a little bit of property in the back. Would you think it would be a good idea to extend the home, that increase the property of the house, or would you just sort of beautify what's going on inside?
It depends on the house. It depends on the neighborhood. There's a lot of factors to take into account. Rather, if the property is undervalued and you find that in that area the houses are typically larger than yours, then you would want to perhaps add more square footage. But
Right.
if you find that the houses in your area are all small to begin with, and they're commanding a large a return or price per square foot, then you just remodel what's inside.
Okay.
It just depends on the house. It depends on the location.
Okay. Makes sense. Michelle Spiro asked a question. Do you do any smaller spaces, condos?
I did when I was first starting out. I would that's kind of where I got my chops on condos. Condos are difficult because you're typically dealing with an HOA, and there's a lot of limitations to what you can and cannot do and how you can and cannot work. But any the key, I think, to design is knowing what your style, know what you like and what you don't like, and then executing it. And if you can execute it, find a professional to execute it for you.
Okay. I see another question. I'm going to ask one last question, then we're going to make a bit of a turn. What are some, from Marcia Fingal, what are some moderate income tweaks you recommend?
Okay, so again, moderate income tweaks.
Moderate.
Kitchens and bathrooms for your
Okay.
kitchen. Instead of replacing all the kitchen cabinets, if it works well, if the layout is nice, paint them a great color, like maybe a shocking blue, or a really great green, like a hunter's green. Just do something that's different. Hunter greens go great with brass, so I would bring in brass handles, brass knobs, brass faucet with a green cabinet. Leave your countertop the same as it is. Don't invest in that. You'll see it'll be completely different. It'll give a completely different vibe to your space, and it doesn't cost that much. With a moderate budget, you can make a great kitchen. The same for the bathroom. The bathroom, again, tile. Tile it's not terribly costly because it's not a large space. Interesting tile. Spend a little extra money on interesting tile, or buy pedestrian tile or common tile and do it in an interesting way. And instead of the 4x4, maybe go with a 3x6 and stagger it in a subway pattern. Instead of the basic white, maybe go with black, or if not black, your favorite color, whatever happens to be your favorite color. Just make it your own, and you can always tweak it. Paint is very inexpensive, and you can always paint again. That's the easiest way. And then fixtures. Fixtures are not that terribly costly, and you can always find some interesting fixtures to use. Knobs that you don't see everywhere else. And since you don't need very many, it's not going to cost you very much.
And this man is doing all of this. You also are I won't say investing, working in your community, kind of upgrade the property value, or of certain communities, right?
Right. Well, I used to live in a place where not very many people looked like me.
Right.
And I didn't want to rear my children in that environment. So I scoured the area for a location where um, I can, where there were professionals that I could rear my children, and again, in a place where they can see themselves, and they can see other professionals that are happen to be people of color, and so I found this really great location in Los Angeles, and noticed that the values of the homes are less than they ought to be. Let's put it that way, because again, we've been redlined. We've been told that our property values are not as expensive or exclusive as other areas, just because we happen to be Black. And so I want to change that. So I just invested in the area that I wish to live in, and I want to slowly change that idea that you can't have a multi-million-dollar, or you can't have a space that we own, that is ours, that is better than what most people would expect.
Right. I see on your wedding day with your husband.
Yes, that's Marco. We've been together for
Hi, Marco.
16 years now, actually. We were together for 10 or 11 years before we decided to get married. He's amazing person. I'm in terms of choosing a person, a partner, someone that you could create and that always has your back. He's that person.
Nice.
So I'm terribly fortunate.
And you two are blessed to have twins.
Yes, we have twins. We thought there was only going to be one, but
wow, look at that. Oh my God, they're so cute.
Little boy, little girl. We're all done. The little boy.
Boy and girl.
Boy and girl. Yes. Amazing. The boy's name is Hasten. In Mesoamerica, or Meso, it's not Mexican, I forget the term exactly, but there's an indigenous tribe in Mexico, in southern Mexico, that name comes from, and it means soul.
Wow.
And then Light, our girl's name is Light, Lithe. We had two names for her. It was either Light or Lauren. And she came out, and I have pictures of it. Actually, I have a video of it. She came out, and she swung her hands out as the doctor pulled her out, and she made this really beautiful, graceful movement with her hands. And like, that's a Light. So it's Hasten and Light.
That's a star.
That's a star. She's very
much, a star.
She loves
hello.
That way.
I'm here.
Very much love the camera.
I love it. Oh wow. Well, thank you. Oh my God, you have such a beautiful family.
Thank you.
Love that. And also, what I was going to say, you also are the co-founder, one of the co-founders of Rhubarb, which is an advertising agency specializing in campaigns for movies and TV and stuff like that.
Right.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, my co-founder and I, we're talking, and we're looking at the industry, and realize that there's so few Black voices in advertising that we'd like to make a change. We'd like to put our voices there. And he's there's like an amazing creative director. He has an amazing mind. And it just made sense to do work with him, because again, his talent is far beyond anything I've seen. And it just made sense at the time to put our voices into that arena.
And speaking of that voice, the other half, we have here, and we're going to get to them both here. But I want to say welcome to the show. To get Andrew Irving, co-founder of Rhubarb Agency. Sitting next to him is Reese Sherman. He's our photographer. I think they're having a little audio problem. Can't hear you. Can we get audio?
Oh yeah, can you hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Hey,
Oh.
hey, hey,
Hey everybody! Ooh, thank God you couldn't hear us.
So, welcome. And, and we're going to definitely have this one, anyone watching now, definitely have Andrew back. I got to keep you. Oh my God. I always do the cover. When I do the cover thing, I always shake my shoulders. It's just something that happens. Everybody knows me. I'm just that guy. But anyway, so he was telling us about that with, advertising agencies and tell us about, your partnership. How does that work?
Oh well, Cain and I have been friends for way longer than I even want to admit. Which, by the way, I just want to a little aside is when I knew him back in the day when I first met him, he had an apartment and his apartment was like incredible. It was fabulous, and everything was bought at a thrift store because he worked as a manager at a grocery store, an assistant manager at a grocery store, produce department, and so he didn't have a lot of money, but it looked like $1 million. So he's been doing that thrift store thing, and also as another aside, he's probably everything he's wearing right now is all designer, but it's also probably a thrift store. So that thrift store thing, he just really has it. Like I don't believe him that he's like, oh, I got this Versace jacket at the thrift. And it's like, what thrift stores are you going to? Anyway, this is completely off topic, I know. But Cain and I have known each other for such a long time, and I've been working in this entertainment advertising business for over 20 years, and he's constantly. I've been at 6 different agencies, and every agency he's like, hey. You should start your own agency. Hey, Steven. And he's like, oh, hey, you should start your own agency. And I was like, I don't know. And then finally, I just got to a point where I was so uncomfortable with the situation I was in. Like, let's just do this. And he made it seem so easy. When he said earlier about like anyone that you can put your mind to, you can do anything. That's not bullshit from him. That's like something that he puts into practice, and it's just very. He's always inspiring me because of that. Because I realized like, oh yeah, it's like just do it. So that's basically what we just like. Okay, let's do it, and started the agency, and started it at a time when Netflix and Hulu, the streaming companies are really big and had a lot of different shows and product. So we just jumped in, and we've been doing fantastic ever since.
Very much so.
It looks like it. I mean, you're winning awards and everything. So besides job, well, thank you guys. Thank you, Andrew. We're gonna leave you there. Because now we come to this time where we've all worked together. So we want to present the cover to you guys. So, but it was great. Like really what I love about you guys is how you do work together. And Reese,
yes,
I know you're a little quiet over there.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was waiting for the video, and I thought we were going to talk about it. But I do want to say this: these pictures, we had a really small, a team, should I say, of 3? Us 3, well, 4, including our model right here. So, and we still made it happen, and we didn't need a lot of people. And I thought this was really great because these pictures are going to be very special for me, and also Andrew, us doing this for somebody we have known for such a long time. And what I've seen so far has been cool. I can't wait to see this revealing and see what you did.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're missing one person, Jamar. But she was here, man.
Where's Jamar?
Watching somewhere. Yeah. He was a big part of helping us out. So.
Big shout out to Jamar.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I think, wait, hold on. This is kind of where the little bit of a draw. We always throw a little, hold on. We send him a little. Paul's like, back there,
Okay, well, I also want to say, I was going to wait for the pictures, but while we're doing all this, I really wanted to find Andrew and I historical buildings that were like had really great lines and very modern looking, So to me, it would represent Cain in the right way, because I luckily enough been to that house that he did in Beverly Hills. Am I right, Cain? I think he was looking to Kanye West's backyard in his house. Was he?
That was Brentwood. I'm sorry, that was Bel Air.
Isn't it Bel Air, right?
Bel Air, right.
But I'm also a chef, and if you could have seen this kitchen, oh my God! But I've been to a few different houses of his, and everything's so thoughtful. So I really wanted this shoot to be very thoughtful on him, on making sure everything had really mind and historic, because I mean, he's something to look up to, especially for people in our community.
Well, thank you. Very nice to say.
Yeah.
So we're going to show the cover, and there's a few, and then what we're going to do is we're going to show the rest. We normally drop the cover feature the following day. This is always a little bit for any viewers that come online and they watch. They kind of get a little preview, and so I just got word, to see what happened, what came together. I love it, and I love about. Well, there we go. Pow.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
Thanks, guys, for all of your help. I couldn't have done it without you, quite frankly. You guys actually made me look happy.
And it's Cain Caldero, Leon, the age of modernism. And your age of modernism, what you're bringing to the table. And you described modernism. I just want to go back to this before we go into this. You described modernism so well, because I'm an art major, so I have my own version of modernism. And then I'm seeing you and someone getting your feeling, right? And you described it, and modernism was always sort of like lines and a bit sterile.
Right.
But when you add, what you do is you're able to add the warmth to clean lines and what could easily be sterile but gorgeous.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's the key of modernism, is you're keeping the humanity within that, the warmth within that. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Anyway, I want to shut up and let you guys talk. This is gorgeous, and I love the geometry of it all.
Reese did an amazing job, and Andrew did an amazing job at
Congratulations, Reese.
He was great.
Thank you, guys. It was all of us.
It really was. Oh, okay. Look at me. I'm doing the Lord. That's it. I'm from New York. Listen, we wave. If you were in church, you get this.
Yeah. I know.
Love that. That's epic.
That's beautiful.
That's gorgeous.
Good job, Reese.
Reese.
That's amazing.
That was when we saw that shot. We were there, and when we saw it on the. Yeah, you had your monitor. You had your computer. Right?
Yeah.
When we saw it appear on the computer, it was like, oh my God, this picture.
Yeah.
Just like everything came together. Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
So good. So good.
Yeah, it was.
Love it. So beautiful.
I love it. Can't wait to put it up in my book.
Yeah, you can't see Cain's shoes that he's wearing are amazing, and you can't really see them. I hope the shoes appear bigger in other pictures, but I'm not sure.
They're what? Sorry?
The shoes that he's wearing were just incredible.
Yeah.
They were Margiela, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But you have great style. Great style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He got those shoes from a thrift store.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
I'm just telling
Andrew, we missed the boat on this one. It should have all been about let's follow Cain shopping.
you. Wow.
The deal.
I think that's a Netflix series. It's like
Yeah, that's, you know.
With the kids, I don't have as much time anymore. But yeah, it used to be fun.
Nice. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, like I said, guys, we're going to be dropping this. You got a nice little preview. We're going to be dropping them tomorrow.
Wait.
You can actually get the cover tonight if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. Yeah. Like, no. You got it hooked up.
Okay, thank you.
Well, guys, I just want to. Is he gonna? Oh my God, we got more. How insanely good is this?
Yeah, and the fraud.
Yes, Stephen, he is incredible. Stephen
Yeah.
Rice, thank you guys. Crystal Blake, Courtney Douglas, Sean Toy, Jamar, we see you. Thank you. Marcia Fingal, Michelle Spiro, we love you guys. Thank you guys for Angela Miles. We love you guys for coming on. Yanato, thank you so much. Myron, I see you. Always up saying hi to everybody. Look at the epicness of this photograph. That's what I loved about when you guys all came together. You kind of made he has, you know, Cain, you have great lines in your face.
Absolutely.
Angular, it works. It's like the building. It's a very structured, beautiful face. So it always worked. It worked so well with this photo shoot. Like you became a part of it all. I love that.
I had amazing direction. I had amazing direction, and with a good photographer, he can make almost anyone look good.
Thanks.
yeah, but also great genes. His mother's cheekbones are wow. Also, like
I haven't any pictures of her. I would love to one day, Cain.
It's a fabulous cover. It's a fabulous shoot. Amazing photos with a great story. Once again, guys, we did a great Q&A feature, which you'll get to read on Facebook. Okay, the full story, his full story, and I wanted to say one thing. It's an epic story. You know, like they said, this gentleman went, you know, single mom. I just want people to understand you can do it. You can really do it. You got to believe in yourself. You got to have passion, have drive, and vision. And you know, Andrew, like he said, Andrew knew you, man. Hey, Crystal, knew you when you were, you know, assistant sales for the thrift store. Look at you now. So, I mean, I love saying it like that so people can understand that it's possible.
It absolutely is.
You know,
I want to, if I can leave you with anything, it's about finding your passion. What is it? Once you find that, you really can achieve anything. Don't worry about the money. The money will come. Do you. Always show up as you. Always do you. In that passion, you'll have an incredible, incredible journey.
You heard it, guys. He just said it. And our motto is live your life with passion. There you have it in a nutshell. So I want to thank you guys. I want to thank our special guest, Cain Caldero Leon. We'll be watching, looking. I mean, we're excited about what the future holds for you. Always, once again, Andrew Irving, you're incredible. You're amazing. Epic. I can't wait to throw you on the cover and do something fierce with you because, honey, okay? And, and I think we got someone right next to probably shoot it. And it would be, Reed Sherman. Once again, phenomenal.
I'll do the wardrobe.
Better be me.
and then Jamar, you round out the experience. So, and that's our LA ambassador for us, Ambassador Digital Magazine LA team. You killed it again. We welcome you always here, and thank you so much for tonight. And what a wonderful show. So I just everyone, thank you so much for joining in, and go Wherever you're gonna go, go in peace, go in love, and we wish you well. So I want to say thank you, and always say thank you to Paul. Paul in the back, yo, Paul. He normally jumps in. That's why I didn't have to even say Paul. He does his thing. It's this thing he does. Watch. Hey.
Cheers, Paul. Yay.
That's Paul. Paul, hey. Thank you, Marcia. Also on our team. So thank you for our wonderful team. I saw a lot of them joining in. Stephen Rice for introducing me to these gentlemen. And
the best shows.
And I can't wait to come to LA.
Yeah, down here.
I know you boys know how to have fun.
Hey.
Let me know when you get to COVID, of course.
Things to open up.
Yeah. So, anyway, once again, you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you once again for a great show. And we will we'll see you next week. Next week is I just want to throw this out. It is Black History Month. And we are excited to feature one of Harlem's own, the great Beverly Smith.
That's right. Yeah. I can't wait.
With that, go in love. Have a good night.
Thank you,
Good
Mr.
night.
Smith.